Welcome to Toilets Titles Down Under Dynasty with your host at Light from the Ben, and with me, as usual, my co-host at FF Matt. How are you today, Matt?
Mate, I'm doing wonderfully well, as always. Great to be talking some ball with you. Episode 50. Pretty big milestone for us.
Yes. I was surprised we got this far. We did take last week off. It was the lovely Mr. and Mrs. Dormat's 19th wedding anniversary.
Was indeed, yeah. Had to take a week off. Happy wife, happy life. So
yeah, we were going to try to do it, but then it just got to the point where the week was in the past. It was over.
So, we missed it. We missed it. You got to give me one off a year.
Right, but we're back again, and hopefully, we'll be rocking it the rest of the year. And it's 5 weeks now. We're starting to see those shifts in fantasy football dynasty value. People are looking at their teams now and really making a decision. Can they compete? Can they not compete? The buys are coming up. You really should have a good idea now of where your dynasty fantasy football teams are and what direction you want to take them in. You should be looking at things like your points scored, your potential points, your all-play record to really figure out if you're a contender or not.
100%. You should know that by now. Cookies probably crumbled in a few leagues. I know they have for me. A couple I'm rebuilding and I wasn't planning on, but happens to the best of us sometimes. So yeah, check your max points for as well, all those sort of things. Sometimes you can be at the top of the leagues, but you're not really outscoring anyone on a week-to-week basis. Just had a lucky draw. So yeah, now's the time, right? Probably missed the boat a little bit if you haven't done it by now. So
I've done it by now in pretty much every league. I mean, I made that decision in some leagues. I made that decision before the season started. Especially in leagues where people were looking at their rosters just prior to the season, and all of a sudden those 23 first, which you couldn't pry from someone's cold dead hands, were available.
I mean, you can pry them from my hands. I'm easy to trade with. You know me, Benny. Mates rates, easy come, easy go with me. You're probably behind the eight ball if you're finding out just now, but it's never too late. The later you leave it, probably the worse it is. You don't want to go off too early, I guess. Sometimes, I think one of the leagues I was in, someone was talking about whether they're going to pack in or whether they're going to rebuild. They had Barkley and CMC and whatnot, and they didn't, and now they're number one, in points scored and potential points as well. Definitely got an old side, so this will be the last year for them. But it's a fine line sometimes. You don't want to go off too early, right? When you got a chance to win, you got to take it. Maybe you don't sell all your picks. You don't always have to sell out to go win now. But if you are, you don't want to bail too early. Is what I'm saying.
Sometimes it just doesn't go your way though, right? Like I was really digging our Street Fighter startup that we did this off season. I was liking my team, and Trey Lance gone, yeah. Javonte Williams gone, yeah. Put Barkley up on the trade block. I think he's the RB1 at the moment. All right. Izzy reports player top rushes. Look, he's the RB2 behind Nick Chubb in this scoring because we do points for rushing first downs or carries or something. I can't remember. But, he's right up there.
He's close enough.
And I think in just dedicated PPR would be the RB1. But, mate, like just low balls. Nothing.
Not from me, mate.
Nothing good.
Me.
Hey.
I think I offered you 3 first, but you said no.
Please, I offered you. Where are you sitting in this league anyway? You're with me. You're down the.
Yeah. Look, sounded pretty good to start with, but I don't know. Don't know what's happened there. Just still thereabouts. It's a bit of a tough league. 14 teamer IDP league. So I'm going right. TJ Watt injury. That sort of. I lost him. Lost Jamal Adams too. That would have been some decent contributors for me. So hanging about. I haven't made the decision like you to rebuild just yet. But yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah, there's a few of those injuries. If you've got Tour and the likes, maybe you had a great side and just had a bit of unfortunate luck. So it's the way it goes.
A lot of those JT teams are ailing this year.
JT, Najee, Swift's been out a couple of weeks, so yeah, the running backs have been a little bit ordinary. Apart from Chubb and Barkley, it's SOS to Brees Hall.
Yeah, he finally had that breakout game we were all expecting. We could talk.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Let's get through the news and injuries and then say the Brees Hall talk for the first segment that you've so politely crafted together.
You know I love Brees Hall.
Do you? Waller out multiple weeks. I did not know that.
Reportedly he's got a hamstring injury out multiple weeks, according to Pro Football Doc. On their side, it was a good reference if you want to get into, apart from this guy's fragile until it's the titles, of course. Pro Football Doc's also a great resource there. So yeah, they've said he's potentially out multiple weeks. And I think it was a late out too, right? I think it was in game or just before the game, but he scored 0 points. So not good news for an older tight end that's had a pretty ordinary, off the ball a bit last season and hasn't done much to start the season. So,
and they finally just gave him a contract extension too, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Not looking good at all. I think Russ Wilson as well. He's not on here, but he's got that potential shoulder injury, and they just gave him a contract extension, right, as well, massive extension, and he's just looked terrible. Still a bit of the season to go, but not just in fantasy, but in real life, it's just been woeful. I didn't watch that game, and that was
They're on the hook for a boatload. Hopefully, Wilson turns it around.
Hopefully he does. Did you see that clip with KJ Hamler on a slant to the end zone? He was like on the 1 yard line. You could drive a bus through. He was the gap. He was so wide open, and Wilson missed him. And Hamler's smashed his helmet up against the turf. I was doing the same. I've got a few shares of Hamler as well. But they could have come back and won the game pretty easily if he had saw him. He just missed him, So early days for us.
It still is, early days with a new team. Maybe getting a rookie head coach wasn't the right fit there, but we'll see. Hopefully they can turn it around. I'm assuming Wilson isn't someone you wouldn't even be trying to buy low on Wilson, the way your teams operate, right? You need to be pretty cheap.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I don't think people are going to sell him cheap because if you can get him cheap, great. But I don't think you can. You're not going to get him for a second, right? You're going to have to give a first up for him for sure. Mm-hmm. If you can get it for a second, I'd take that every day, even 2 seconds. But you've got to give at least a first. So yeah, I can't see me acquiring any shares.
Not even if you were confident it'd be like the 110, you wouldn't give like a first and a second.
Yeah, look, possibly. I think that's fair enough. I guess. I think that's what you're gonna have to pay. I think you can't get him without giving up that first. You're not going to get 2 seconds. But I think if I'm selling him, I'd possibly look to cash out.
He's been terrible.
He has been terrible. He has been absolutely terrible.
Yeah, look, I've got him in Scott Fishbowl, I think, and that's it.
Yeah, I've got him in final. I've got him and Rogers in final, and they've both been pretty ordinary. Hopefully, they can turn it around. But I'll tell you what, has just looked sensational and has been great too, right?
I'm happy
one
for
of the highest passer ratings, and yeah, he's really turned it around since that's and partly broke his jaws. He had to fly out with the Jets and whatnot. I think he's shown a lot of character to come back from that, and I saw an interview with him, and someone was saying they were surprised he's playing so well, and he said, "Well, have you seen me throw?" And he said, "No." He said, "Well, that's why. If you had to watch me throw, you wouldn't be surprised." So he did have that perfect passer rating game back in 2014, a long time ago. But he's flashed it before, but he's just been so consistent. So obviously, Pete Carroll's just getting the best out of him. He must love playing for Pete.
Do you think he's the long-term solution in Seattle? Remember that he just turned 32 this week. But he's having a very good year, and as we know, quarterbacks can play till their late 30s.
Well, I think he'll be there for a couple of years. I think it might be this year, next year before they move on. That's what I'd do if I was Seattle. So yeah, I think it'll be more than this year. I think if he can just keep doing what he's doing, it'd just be interesting to see what happens when these defensive coordinators get a full year of tape on him in that system, and then make adjustments and the scheme around him in that offseason. We've seen it with some rookie QBs where they come out, they're great, and then these defensive coordinators get some tape on them, and they sort of take away what they love, and then these players have got to adjust again. So it'd be interesting to see that sort of chess match. But long term, yeah, he's probably not going to be that long term answer there, right?
So what would you pay for Geno Smith in Dynasty?
I think I saw a league where he went for a second and a third. I think it was him and another similar price QB went for a second and third somewhere, and I thought that was pretty good.
Well,
I think it was him and Mariota.
I essentially sold him for a second.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. It was Mariota and Geno went for a second and a third.
Based off his production,
yeah,
I mean, 75% of his passes, 31 touchdowns.
That's a steal.
He's projected for only 7 interceptions. I mean, he's been balling, but I just don't think anyone's just due to the circumstances. People aren't going to pay a first for Geno Smith.
You can't, right? No, you can't. You can't pay a first for him. I'd rather pay a bit more or get a Kirk Cousins. I'm sure you can get a Kirk Cousins for a first, right?
You sure you wouldn't? You sure you'd rather Kirk Cousins than Geno Smith?
Well, Cousins is going to be there long term, you think, right? High ceiling.
I don't know.
It's just because of all those things I said, right? Like you just don't know what's going to happen. You two, but yeah, for a second, I think that's a fair price to sell him for, and it's a bit of a steal to if you can, if you're one of these teams that has skipped your second QB, I think that's a good move to make, or you've lost Trey Lance or something, chuck a second out and you give you a chance to win the rest of the season.
You've got Pat Fryermuth, potential to miss the next 12 months due to a third concussion.
Yeah, so again, this was Pro Football Doc saying what a great resource. They were just talking about it. They weren't suggesting it, but they were just saying it could be a possibility because there has been multiple concussions in the last 12 months. So a bit of a worry. I think Brandon Cooks went through a similar thing a few years back. People were talking about his career being over and whatnot after he had multiple concussions, but he's been absolutely fine. So just something to watch out for.
Do you think it impacts his dynasty value? Do you think it impacts his dynasty value?
No, but you might be able to buy him if he's out, and you're rebuilding. He could be a target to avoid those potential points. I've got him in console wars, and I was pretty happy to. Like, you never want to see injury, right? But just if he's out, that's good for me because I miss those potential points. I think I'm locked in for Bijan there already, so that's looking to keep that running because my side's pretty ordinary. Need all the help I can get. So yeah, I don't think it's got any real impact on his dynasty value. Like I said, with Cooks, Cooks bounced back, he was fine. But they were just talking about it, so it's just something I thought, it's easy to miss, that sort of stuff.
And you've got, we had the Penny injury. You got Kenny Walker here. I think we saved him also for that same segment.
Yep.
And NFL overreaction to Tua injury.
Yeah, just don't sack the quarterback. If it's Tom Brady, you can't touch him. If it's other players, you can't sack him. I think just call touch, call held.
You reckon Just change it to touch football. No tackling anymore.
Just touch 2 hands on the QB is a sack. That's what it's coming to. I think the Chris Jones, that's a bit of overreaction. I think that was just a penalty. That's a stupid rule, but that is a penalty. And the Brady one, they just missed it. But yeah, look, I think there is. I think it's been talked about in a few podcasts that now, if there's any sort of issue with a QB or a concussion, the player's not coming back. I reckon the rest of the year, if anyone's got any concussion doubts, they're not coming back on for that game. Which sort of worry about how that's going to roll out if you're in the Super Bowl, you're the Bills, and someone clips Josh Allen on the head. That could be Super Bowl window closed for another 40 years.
Look, I'm not a doctor, but I find it pretty funny. In this joint statement, the NFL and the NFLPA said the concussion rules will be modified by adding ataxia to the mandatory list of symptoms which would stop a player re-entering a game. It defines ataxia as abnormality of balance, stability, motor coordination, or dysfunctional speech caused by a neurological issue. So that wasn't on there before?
No, so it actually was on there. It actually was. So that's, again, another shout out to Pro Football Docu. But the head of that podcast, Dave Chow, he was the Chargers' former doctor, and he was saying there's nothing changed. It's just that's always been in there, but now they're saying that the change is the way they enforce it. So in this, for Tua, they didn't even look at ataxia as a part of a concussion. They said it was because of his back injury. So now they're saying you can't attribute ataxia to a back injury or any other injury. If he has it, doesn't matter how he's got it. They're just going to rule him out. So yeah, basically you wobble, right? Have a wobble, and you're gone. Which is probably the right thing for the players. But like I said, if it's there's concussions and there's concussions, right? Like they're not good, but some of them you check it off. You could probably play on. Others you wouldn't never want to play again. So yeah, just worry about there's bigger things than Super Bowls, right? But like I said, if someone clips Josh Allen in the head, and we've seen Bounty before in the NFL, right?
We have.
If you're desperate to win, why would you get some second rate linebacker and just go take him out? You'll be ejected, but we'll win you're not going to win if you're a quarterback down the NFL. So hopefully that doesn't come to that, but let's look at that's where we could be, right?
It's certainly going that way. I hope we don't get there. Obviously, you've got to protect players from themselves, but we're at a point where people understand the risk of playing football. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's a fine line, and it can be a bit cold-hearted sometimes, but when we do it, I've played just, rugby league, not NFL, but I've played and I've been, hitting the head and shaken up, and I've just played on, and I wasn't getting any money. I wasn't winning any sheep stations or anything. It was just on the park, and I didn't want to come off. It was just, it's fun to play, right? It's what we do. So, I was a pretty hard tackle, but I wasn't rolling around on the ground and having seizures and whatnot. But that's the point I'm trying to say. Is sometimes you just get a bump in the head and you're fine 10 minutes later, and other times it's completely different. So yeah, just wonder how that's going to play out the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'll also be interested to see how that plays itself out.
It's going to be ugly.
With that, let's go on to this first segment, quarterly review rookie redraft. All right, Doormat, sir, beautiful segment you set up here. Who is your? We've got the same 101 here. I got Breece Hall. You got Breece Hall. He only really just broke out this week. Just huge breakout from him. There was no other consideration there?
No, Definitely not. I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about, maybe we would have put Wilson up after his massive game. But we've been saying that Brees Hall is slowly taking over that RB1 spot at the Jets. He's been more efficient. He's had more target share. Just wasn't getting the reps. And even this game, right, even though he had that massive breakout, I think Carter still pinched a couple of goal line carries and got those 2 touchdowns. So it could have been even a lot higher breakout. So there's still a chance to buy high. I think there's bigger games ahead for Brees Hall. So he's my 101 with a tier break.
Well, with a tier break. Okay.
Well, only because I'm not as high. Like, I do like your 102, but he's not my 102, so that's probably why. For you, I don't know. Is it a bigger break for you, or?
No, look, to me they're in the same tier. As long when I say, I mean for Dynasty, like long term.
So you got Drake London as the 102. So yeah, for you, there's not much difference really.
Yeah, I just think that the numbers. Obviously, he's getting a lot of targets. Not on track for as many as Wilson, but still they're neck and neck really as far as targets. It's only, I think, projected for 13 difference at the moment. Right now, Wilson's had 43. London's had, I don't know. What's he had? 1 second, I should have had it up. Bad person.
I think if you scroll down,
39.
39. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, they're neck and neck as far as targets, but I mean, Wilson's targets have fallen off since Zach Wilson's come back in. I just London just seeming like an alpha, even though Kyle Pitts is there, and with how conservative Mariota's playing, I just think there's so much upside there. But it's a 1A 1B situation for me as far as London and Wilson anyway. If I had Wilson and you offered me London straight up, I'd probably just keep the side I have, and vice versa. I'd want a cherry on top if I was to hit accept on that deal.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same for me too. I've got Wilson slightly ahead of him, but same. I think it's like, it might sound funny, but I think London might have a better long-term quarterback setup, because I think Atlanta might be able to roll out Ritter and then possibly move on from Ritter this year. Or I think for whatever reason, I don't know, I think the Jets might just stick with Zach Wilson, and I'm not sure if he's the long-term answer there. He looked okay this outing, but yeah, I guess it's the same, right? They've both got questionable QBs going forward. And I think Arthur Smith is just. I saw someone tweet out, I can't remember who it was. They were saying that that he's done the reverse Bill Belichick, where he's taken out his best player. So the past couple of weeks, he took out Kyle Pitts, and now Kyle Pitts was injured. He's taken out Drake London. So he's done the reverse Belichick. So that could change too, right? If either they start playing a bit different, or he gets another mind coaching him offensively, wheels up. So you can see how quickly that could change. I guess is what I'm saying. Could be a superstar rookie QB coming in. I think they've got a pretty early pick next year, so his whole situation could change very quickly. But yeah, for me, it's 50-50 with Wilson and London. Just Wilson slightly ahead.
I don't. Surely they're going to change to Ritter soon. When's the Falcons' bye week?
I think it is soon. Hey, I think it's very soon.
It just doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah. No, he's looked ordinary. Mariota.
He's just not it, man. And I was so high on Mariota coming out, and after that first year or two, I mean, they're 2-3. They're not going to make the playoffs. Ritter can't be any worse than Mariota, surely.
Bye week 14.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So they got 49ers this week. So maybe that's the end of Mariota there.
Yeah. But look, we're getting a bit sidetracked. Look, I've kind of got Brees Hall, London Wilson. They're all in tier 1 for me. Those three. They're my tier
for
1
me,
guys.
it's Reesol just above and then Wilson London.
Okay.
Close enough, just a little bit more separation. But
Yeah, and
up to you.
I'm tier breaking this. Now, next, I've got Kenneth Walker. Because I think he's going to get a boatload of carries now with Penny out for the year. And he's going to produce fantasy points. And, running backs are valuable.
Well, I was tempted to put Walker in here. I don't know if it was just because I thought maybe chalk that I changed it. I don't know, possibly. I think Penny's just got a 1-year deal, right? So
he won't be back, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to pay, for, with all the needs they got on that side. You pretty much think that Walker's taken over. So, yeah, probably a smart move to put Walker in at 4, but I didn't. Maybe just because we haven't seen enough yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen enough. Look, it's understandably apprehensive when you haven't seen it from him. You've got Olive 4. Look, I know he's produced. I've got, thinking from a Dynasty perspective, I've still got other guys ahead of Olive. I've got Burks at 5, Pickens at 6, Olive at 7.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I like Burks too, but just we haven't seen it, and we have seen it from Olive. I think he's the most targeted. He's got 42 targets up there with Wilson. He's got 14 deep targets. I think he went off too with a concussion as well, so he could even do a bit more wheels up. So that's why I've got him there. But it's same for this next bunch. I think Olive, and the next guys I've got are pretty much in the same tier.
Mm-hmm. And then, so you've got Olive, Pickens, Walker. And you've got Damian Pierce at 7.
Yeah, I just think he's taken over that backfield and looked pretty good. If you look at his stats, he's had a couple of massive games. And just because of scarcity, I think that bumps him up a little bit higher.
Would you trade him for a 23 first?
If I had him now, yeah, I'd sell him for a first. Yep, I wouldn't buy him for a first, but yeah, definitely I'd sell him.
Any 23 first? I mean, he's on track for 1,400 yards and 44 receptions. I would.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think any 23 first, I would trade him for.
Yeah, that's fair. And then where are we? You've got Burks at 8. I've got Dotson. We both got Jamison Williams in the same spot at 9. You've got Dotson at 10. That's where I have Pierce. And then you have Moore at 11. I have Christian Watson, and you have Watson at 12, where I have Moore. So not really too much difference there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of tier breaks again, and similar plays in the tier. So I think we're pretty similar. No thoughts of sticking in Romeo Dobbs in your top 12?
Nah, mate, not there for me.
Yeah, me neither. I think some people love him, but I think it's a lot of hype there, and he has got someone with high draft capital in his team. So, well, there for me.
Yeah, no. I'd much rather have Watson than Dubs. I think we mentioned it. Whoa. Don't have ESPN open. Yeah, I just, I like the way Watson moves. He just seems kind of, a little bit special to me. I think he's, I like his potential. I like him probably more now, despite not having done anything than I did prior to the draft process.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit undervalued still. So if he can catch fire with Rodgers there, or with your boy Jordan Love, who knows what could happen?
I mean, you could probably buy him pretty cheap based on what he's done so far. Anyway, But yeah, is there anyone who any rookie you're really pushing to buy or pushing to sell?
I'll be trying to buy Burks. I think just because he would be pretty cheap, hopefully. I think probably truth is like me and you. I don't know if we're truthers, but we both like him, so I wouldn't be giving him a discount anywhere. But if you can get that discount, I'll be looking to buy him, and then even Wilson too. I think he's had a couple of quiet games.
Yeah, I was
He
going to
hasn't
say
caught on
that
fire,
one.
so
I like that one.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Maybe you can make a few offers for Wilson.
Like that.
Yeah.
Very good,
How about
sir.
you?
Very good. Yeah, no, I like your Wilson take.
It's Wilson. Yeah, just Wilson, yeah. Sweet.
Righty. Well, segment 1A. So quarterly review, where we went right, where we went wrong. So we're looking at our bold predictions already. I guess some people on Twitter victory lap after week 1, so we can victory lap after week 5, right?
I'm 100%. Fantasy receipts has been given receipts out at mid game. So it's not even a full game, and they start giving these receipts. So I think we can, after a quarter of it, more than a quarter, right? More than a quarter
Yeah, absolutely.
We can talk about. I think our rankings, our dynasty rankings, that we hit. I think we had Waddle as our wide receiver 4 in dynasty. That's an absolute massive hit. I think Saquon, we had him high. Another hit where all this people didn't.
We were well above consensus on Saquon.
Swift as well. We were well above. I think we had him as our RB2, even though he has been injured. He's looked great.
Yep.
So I think we were pretty much bang on everywhere for our dynasty rankings. We were a bit more serious. These hot takes were a bit more, a bit more fun, a bit more hot takey, but I think we've done pretty well there.
Yeah. No, Waddle having a massive year, so we're looking pretty smart there. I mean, that's been driven by 2 huge games, though.
Yeah, it has. We're talking about dynasty value, not just his overall year, right, as well. And now it looks like Hill's going to be possibly out for a few weeks. They're saying he might come back. So.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't ruled him out yet. They just had him down as questionable. So
I thought that he was good. All the reports I was reading was that he'd be good to play.
I think I saw that he was not ruled out yet for week 6. Was the last I saw.
Okay.
That might push him up a little bit higher if he does have another big week, but it's hard to say with Skylar Thompson.
Can we say we were right on Swift when he missed the last 2 weeks?
That's what I said. He's looked good when he was there. He's just been injured. But some podcasts was saying in that rankings, I think they had Jacobs ahead of him and some other players as well. I think Dynasty. We're talking about Dynasty, right? I think he's been great. He's just been injured. So I think he could have went this week, but they had to buy. So let's keep him out, bring him back after the buy. We can say we're right. Why not?
I've got a trade out there. I sent out there. I've sent out DeAndre Swift for Bijan Robinson. Is that fair?
I think so. I think I'd take Bijan unless I want to win. But that's the only question with Swift, isn't it? It's that not just he's got Jamal there, because I think a lot of these backs, there's not many backs that are the bell cows now. Probably just Saquon, right? Everyone else seems to be a bit of a timeshare. Even
Chubb.
Taylor's got him, Hines, and
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Chubb's taken over, but he's had the battle, hasn't he? So there's not many that have that full bell cow. So yeah, I think that's if I had Bijan, unless I was win now, I'd be keeping him.
Oh, hopefully I can get him. Hopefully this team's 4-1. Hopefully it suffers from injuries and it's success on my trade. I said Kirk will finish as a wide receiver 1. Now you've told me he's currently wide receiver 20, but he's only 4 total points off being a wide receiver 1.
This is a correct enough for me. This is good enough. We're just doing a quarterly review, not saying it's for the season, but yeah, I think this is a win. I think you had him down 90 catches, 1,300 yards. It looks like a hit. So, what's that, one catch and 20 yards, and he's a wide receiver one. So, yeah, well done.
Hopefully he gets there.
Didn't see it coming, but yeah, he did well.
He's had a couple of quiet weeks though.
He has had a couple of quiet weeks. Yeah, he has, but hopefully, he can get back on the ball. You're not going to have massive weeks every week, so.
Rodgers not top 15 quarterback. I think you mocked me for this one. Currently quarterback 18.
Oh no, I praised you after week 1, and I mocked you after week 2, and now you've hit the nail on the head. I think during the podcast you were saying because he's always had the alpha wide receiver normally, and he hasn't now. So borderline, but yeah, he hasn't looked good.
My next one was Najee, not an RB1.
Yeah, that's a massive win. I think that's the take of takes.
That was a very bold take. Say he wouldn't be an RB1. He's not even an RB2 right now. At RB26, Jesus.
Yeah, he's not looking good. I wouldn't be surprised if they just blew him out for the rest of the season. If he takes another bump or something. And so he's pretty old, right? Already. So hopefully he has another game, and if you got him, you can. If he has a big game, you can cash out him possibly. But yeah, tick.
Lawrence finishes a quarterback 1 at value, top 6 ADP. Correct enough. 14.
Yeah, I think that's close enough. Look, it's close enough. He's only 6 points off a QB1, so we're not. It's not end of season yet. It's that ETN drop touchdown pass week 1 gets him as a QB1. So yeah, he's had a couple of quiet weeks too, which is why he's dropped out as a QB1. But I think that's close enough as to say it's every chance, and I think his value that's just going to get higher and higher too. So I think he's currently QB9, but if he has a couple of big games again, that's going to go even higher. I'm a generous marquee, man. I'm looking after you.
I know. Jack will be top 6 tight end. He's currently tight end 7. He's on track for 82 catches and almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah, about time. He's still good.
That's because in one league I traded him for a ham sandwich. And then
you love that, yeah. What are you paying for him in a standard tight end premium league? Second?
He's still.
You can't pay first. You're not going to get him for third, right? So he's probably going to be.
No, it's probably do. He's paying a second and a third, right? At this point, I mean,
yeah,
900. It's 82 like 24 catches, 289 yards. I mean, look, he could start doing nothing again next week. You just, I don't know.
Well, I think the only question is Watson, right? If Watson comes back,
yeah. I mean, what's going to happen when Watson comes back? He could really fire up.
He's probably going to be a little bit rusty for those first few games, but there's every chance that he starts spreading the ball a bit more, right? And Jacoby, so that could have a massive impact. But yeah, I think that's another tick. We got all the hits first, and then the misses later. So the misses are coming, but these are all good hits.
Walker more rushing yards than Hall.
So I think this is a push for now. Walker's ahead, right? 146 to 275.
Yeah, but Walker's missed a game.
Yeah, and he's had Penny there, and so now he's. We don't want to vet your lap on injuries, but it's going to be a little bit closer.
I mean, look, I was factoring in the fact that Penny would get hurt into this prediction because I expected him to get hurt.
Yeah, I guess that's fair enough because he has been fragile. This guy is fragile. I'm sure he's featured on there. You also had them both to get over 1,000 yards, and I think that's
very likely to happen now.
Looking good as well. You skipped over your Debo 1 too. You had Debo, not a
Debo, not 12.
1.
Currently wide receiver 18.
Wide receiver 18. So there you go. Another hit.
Oh. And then Justin Jefferson 2,000 yards. It's probably not going to happen.
It's close. So if he has one massive game, His rest of the season schedule is not too bad. He just had that one game against the Lions where I think he got like 14 yards or something. So he's not out of it yet.
He'd need a couple of big games.
Yeah, he needed a couple of. I mean, he's had a couple of big games too, right? Yeah, I think he had like a 180-yard game, so he needs a couple of back-to-back games there, and could change things.
Nico Collins, top 18 wide receiver, currently wide receiver 56.
This is the shame for all your next takes. They're all misses.
He's on track for over 900 yards. He's having us, it could still happen. I still believe in Nico. His last 2 games have been his best of the season.
Well, I think the problem is that they're playing ugly and winning ugly, right?
Yeah.
So probably if they won't win it, they might be slinging the ball a bit more. Maybe he might get a few more yards there, but yeah, still time.
Yeah, still time. Gibson as an RB1, currently 21. I don't think he's going to finish as an RB1 now that Brian Robinson's there. I mean, Brian Robinson had the most carries last week, right?
Yeah, outsnapped him. I think McKissick got none. So yeah, it's probably another shameful miss, Benny. Shame.
Berkeley's all rookies in yards. Massive miss. Yeah. Definitely not going to happen.
Not happening.
Malik Willis takes Tannehill's job. I actually don't think this will happen anymore. And I'm not just saying this because there's a league I'm trying to trade Tannehill in. There he is. But I actually think they're really excited about him, and they don't about Willis, and they don't want to put him in early and risk messing him up.
I think I said the same thing about Trey Lance last year, right? I was just saying I hope he sits the whole year, can just learn, and then go in fresh for the full year. So, I think that's fair enough. So, another shameful miss.
This is probably my worst one. Kelsey, not a tight end one. He could probably not get any more points for the season, and he wouldn't. I thought he said. I think I said wouldn't be top 6. I don't think I said wouldn't be tight end 1. Did I?
No, roll it back. He said he wouldn't be a tight end 1. It was a hot take, not a warm take. He said he wouldn't be a tight end 1.
That was terrible.
Yeah, look, it's coming. It's coming soon. I think you can't buy him or sell him because no one wants to pay what he's worth. But
yeah,
it's a clear tea break there.
And Alger will have more yards than Pierce. Hey, this could happen now. This could
happen now. Yep, it could happen. Good luck with it. But Pierce has looked good, but 184 yards Algier to Pierce's 412. But yeah,
it's a couple of games. Nothing, mate. All right, on to yours, mate. Doormat. Hurts finishes at quarterback 3.
Winner, chicken dinner. I think he's currently the quarterback 4 in most formats. So
that was thereabouts.
I think I had him as a QB1, and you said that was not even a warp take; that was a cold take. So I had to move him up to a QB3. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And then you've got Scott T. Damon could be rookie of the year, and you agreed, so you're claiming it.
Yeah, he put it in the chat, and I said, "Yeah, I agree with that, Scotty." I think this is like I can lock this in because it just says could be rookie of the year. So right, anyway, could be the rookie of the year. So that's a
that's a win. That's a win.
Love that.
There you go. And Waddle outscores Hill, or it's close enough.
Yeah, I think the hot take was Waddle would outscore Hill, but the point was that we wouldn't be surprised if that was close enough. So I think Hill's clearly above Waddle now. It looks like Hill's probably going to outscore him, but we don't know about this injury, so it's probably a miss from me. But the point was that I think there was a lot of talk about Waddle. Yeah, that's good enough. But yeah, I think a lot of people were saying Waddle's going to be buried because of Hill, but he's looked sensational. When Tua was
Sutton finishes a wide receiver 1, currently wide receiver 12. So he's hanging on just, but I mean, he's doing that with Wilson playing like doo-doo. So
Yeah, it's
if
just
Wilson
you just
gets
wonder what he
together,
can. Yeah, you just maybe there's a sneaky buy there. Some people maybe over the Broncos offense and sleep a little bit on Sutton. So yeah,
I love Sutton coming out, and then I just kind of just gave up on him. Not
yeah, I think
but
the injuries and his when Drew Lock was throwing the ball, I thought him and Alberto would have massive seasons, and Alberto's just been non-existent. I think he had like one snap last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, not like it. It must be an attitude problem or something, or the coach just doesn't like him. He just don't know.
Good call by you though. Hopefully he holds on and you get that one.
Yeah, thanks.
This one was your best one. Fields finishes as QB12 or better.
Yeah, so he currently that's a win because like I said he would finish as a QB12, and I think he's a QB3. So I've got not a QB1, a QB12. I said so.
Okay.
No, I had him as a QB1. So that's obviously a shameful miss. You did. I didn't see it last week, but you did show me that unbelievable run that he had, where he looked like Tom Brady running out of the pocket. No, he looked like Lamar Jackson. He was carving all over the place, and that got called back. That would have been a massive game. He looked better last week.
Yeah.
Still, maybe the rest of the season he could be there. He has got a high floor, but it's been ugly in Chicago.
You've got as well. Dobbins finishes as an RB1. I like that one, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think at the time you said you're not worried about him being slow after the injury, and I should listen to him because he has been a little bit impacted from the injury, but he's looked good when he has been back on the field.
Yeah, he's looked good this past couple of weeks. Hopefully, it's a sign of things to come. But I mean, Saquon's a physical marvel, and he needed a full year to get right.
Yeah,
he was first season back from the ACL. He was average. Dalvin Cook was average his first season back. I think we all just remember Adrian Peterson coming back, and he's like first season after the ACL, just killing it.
Freak of nature.
Yeah, hasn't been like that for the rest of them. And ATN finishes at RB1. He had his best week this week.
Look, it still happen, but he's in a full-time share there with Robinson, even though he did get more snaps and was more efficient. Robinson's going to hang around, so not over yet, anywhere. But not looking likely.
No, but look, he's still on track for over 1,000 total yards, right? He's going to have a solid first NFL season, just not a first-round pick running back type of season.
Yeah, not with Robinson there.
No. But maybe it changes. Who knows? All right, Dynasty value changes.
Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Now,
trading places.
Bit
of Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
Dynasty Kelsey, are you paying more than a 23 first to buy him? Look, if I'm a big time contender, I'd probably go a first and a second. If I'm a huge, I'd probably pay that. How about you?
Yeah, I think a first is it for me. I think I can't see myself buying him for more than a first, but you can't get him for that. Like he's worth more than that because he's just a clear tear break. It's such an advantage at that position, all right? So you probably should pay more than a first, but I just can't. I think I put it out in the T2T Patreon chat, which you should join, people, if you're not a member. But yeah, I put it in the chat, and a few people said they wouldn't pay a first. They'd offer a second, and that'd be it. So I think a first is fair enough, but you're not going to get him for a first, right? I wouldn't sell him for 2 seconds or a first. You want a first plus. Even a first and second might not be enough. If you got him, you probably want more. I think a league I was in with Billy Beeman, the number 1 overall SFB player. He's only about 2,700 spots ahead of me.
Don't know.
I think, yeah, who's that guy?
Mm.
I think he bought Mark Andrews for an absolute, he paid a fortune for him in a league, and someone popped up and said, "Oh, maybe I should cash in on Kelsey," but you're not going to get the same for Kelsey just because he's so old. I think that's the problem, right?
Yeah, he's 33, and there's this perception he could drop off at any time, but and he's still probably going to be. He'd have to drop off significantly not to be an RB1 though. But
tight end.
Sorry,
one, yeah,
tight end one.
I know what you're saying. You haven't seen
but-
it on the field. He's looked great, hasn't he? He's just been smooth and silky, and Mahomes throwing in the ball, and Andy Reid's scheming it up.
Yeah. But I know he had those short passes this weekend, but the drop in yards per catch doesn't worry you, that kind of stuff.
I mean, you don't like to see it, but I think just as long as he's there, he's going to be a mismatch for him, and Mahomes is, Mahomes is going to throw the ball to him, and I don't know, they're just going to leave him open on the goal line. Like, I don't get it. He's just scored 3 touchdowns, and he was just wide open for that last one. He just skipped in, So whenever he can do that, he's gonna score points.
Javonte Williams, please don't trade a 23 first for him.
I've seen a few, comments around that. I'll take any 23 first for Javonte, and I just think that's a poor move to make because I don't think Javonte can be, this time, when the rookie drafts come around, I know that he might rebound a bit his price, but those 23 first are just going to be insane in value. So I couldn't trade a first for him.
Look, I wouldn't trade a first for him, but just because in places where I'm buying him, I'm trying to buy him to get those points off my roster.
Yeah.
Potential point leagues. So I'm offering players. I'm not going to offer picks. Because if I'm buying him, I'm not contending. If I'm not contending, I don't want points. So I'm trying to get those points off my roster. I did buy him. I traded Deontay Johnson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Javonte Williams. Straight up.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. Both sides.
Yeah. One team's very good now. I'm full tanking in that league. Want to get those points off my roster. I like Deontay, but I don't think he's going to be, ever an elite asset in terms of value, even though his production is been really, really good. Pickens is coming on. I think Pickens might overtake him. Clyde's having a good year, but it's based off touchdowns, right? And they're fluky.
Yeah, he's not doing anything on the ground. He looked ordinary on the ground. I think Deontay's off the boil a bit too from the start of this year. And yeah, I think that's a win-win, right? Even if you're worried about the injury with Javonte, it'll be the same as Akers, right? Akers had a massive bounce back when he was about to get in the field, and he's died now, but you can always cash out if you're worried about the injury.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying no trade for him, but just don't give you a first.
And Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, what are you doing with Kyle Pitts? What do you?
I don't look. I think you can only buy. You've got to be not contending, right? One, Joe.
Joe knows.
And 2, if you're not contending, how many firsts do you want to pay for Pitts? 23 firsts.
If I'm rebuilding, I don't give any first for him.
You wouldn't give any 23 first, not one in a tight end premium league. Because this is a guy who prior to the season, right, it would have taken like 3 firsts to buy him.
Look, I'll be buying him, but if I'm rebuilding, I don't think I could give because those firsts are going to be worth so much.
You couldn't give one single first.
I know. I would, but you're not going to get him for a single first, right? No one's going to sell him for a single first. Is what I'm saying, right? If
Oh,
I'm real big,
okay.
I don't want to make that move, but
All right, so let's do it this way. 101 or Kyle Pitts? 23 101 or Kyle Pitts?
yeah, that's tough because it's Bijan.
Yeah.
I think you want Bijan.
Tight end premium. It's tight end premium.
Yeah. I
still want-
still want. I think it's only Bijan. That's it. I think anything else is Kyle Pitts clearly.
102, you pay for Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, without a second thought. Yep.
Okay.
What about you?
Me? Yeah, I'm the same. I wouldn't trade the 101. I would trade the 102 and upwards. At what point? So, would you trade multiple firsts? Is it there's no like would you trade 110, 112, or 111 for Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, if I'm not rebuilding and I've got those picks, maybe made a few trades. I think he's still worth 3 firsts. It's just the short term I'm worried about him. So probably maybe I'll try and get a second back. Kyle Pitts in a second for those 3 late firsts. But yeah, look, you're probably better off doing something else, right? If you're competing. So he's just a hard player.
If you're competing, you can't buy him because the equity you'd have to move to get him would mean that you're no longer competing anymore, and he's not going to give you what you need this year.
You better off buying a Ertz or a Girdle or something.
Or a Njoku. Like you just said, you reckon you can get Njoku for second and third.
Yeah,
and he's balling out right now. Why would you go and trade the world for Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
you
can't.
would. Yeah. Yep. You know, I still believe I'll be trying to buy him, but he's just hard to buy.
He is. You know, I don't think he's even going to lose that much. I doubt he's lost that much dynasty value.
No, I don't.
He's still just so young, right? He's still only.
Yeah, look, he is young. I'm not sure what his age is, but I've seen a lot of comments out and about there on Twitter. Just people throwing it out there. Oh, you know, well, this is why I didn't want to buy him. I can buy him cheaper now. I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah,
You can't buy him cheaper.
Bullshit.
I've got him. I'm not giving him to you cheaper. You can say you're going to buy him cheaper, but you know, maybe you're in a weak league with some weak people that will just give him up. But I you know, definitely not off me. Not getting him cheaper. So good luck with that.
You know, but I mean, how elite is he going to produce though? Like, is he like?
We saw it in Florida, right? He was just such a mismatch, and he, you know, when it was on, it was unstoppable, you know. And if that, like we said, if that changes, if they do get a Bryce Young in there or a CJ Stroud or something, you know, or if Ritter takes off, Arthur Smith goes, you know, it could be, you know, sky could be the limit. And, you know, we've just said, right, how, you know, a couple of weeks ago, how long it takes for these tight ends to start playing well. So yeah, I think he's got a massive ceiling, right? It's just a poor situation.
Yeah. Well, when does the situation change? Maybe when they put Ritter in, or maybe when they draft CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
Look at Buffalo, right? Like that changed overnight. They were a run-first team, and just within one season, they started throwing the ball 6,000 times. So just don't know what might happen there at Atlanta. And they need some probably franchise that needs a bit of good news. So hopefully they get a quarterback change or, you know, a scheme change there shortly.
And guys, have you joined the Torch Tiles Patreon? Because you should. It's good. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's a steal, right? Tier 1 is $3 per month. That gets you in the TDT team group chat. Tier 2, you get the group chat, but then you also get early access to the waiver wire episode, enter into the Frankenstein Listener League and the TDT team group chat. Tier 3 is all that plus one-on-one draft advice. Tier 4 is everything previously mentioned plus free entry into the Frankenstein listed league and one-on-one roster analysis. And then Tier 5, $20 per month, everything above, and the guys will do a podcast all about your league, talking all about your football league, and we'll do a full breakdown of that league. Rosters, drafts, trades, and more. Boom. What tier do you reckon is the value there?
I think tier 3's, tier 4, the one with the free entry to Frankenstein. I think that's a steal because you're making money there.
Yeah.
It's full on that league. It's a forced trade league. It's good if you're winning. If you're losing, if you're playing Uncle Steve and decides to steal 2 players off you in 1 week, good to me. It might not be as much fun. But I'm playing Uncle Steve in week 13. I've got that one circled on the calendar. I'm 5-0. Sorry, he's 5-0. I'm 4-1. So it's probably going to be nasty for me. But I think that's a good tier. That tier 4 with the that free entry into the Frankenstein.
No, I agree. Yeah, but I think tier 5 is also giving you some good bang for your buck right there. Tier 5. Especially during season, the drafts aren't happening, so you don't need the draft device in season, right? So I'm liking tier 5. But in the off season, then up it to get that draft device and that roster analysis in tier 4. Boom. Cornerstone review, actionable stats. We're not going to do Cornerstone, are we? We've talked to rookies. We can't do Cornerstone.
Yeah, no, I think that was left in there from last week, and we've gone over an hour, so probably just touch lightly on.
Touch slightly on the stats you've put in here. Gibson, Brian Robinson participated on routes, 27%. Reception yards, 33. Targets 4. Receptions 3 for Gibson. 5. Is this is just last week, right?
This just last week, yeah. So interesting to see that McKenzie's got 0 carries, and Robinson was led the carries there with 9 attempts to Gibson's 3.
If Gibson can get McKissick's catches, I think he's still going to be a really valuable player, even in a 50-50 split with Robinson.
If Gibson can get McKissick catches, do you say?
If Gibson can get McKissick's targets, even if in a rushing split, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yep, that's fair enough. Yeah. I thought you said if Robinson could get him. Yeah, if he could get him, but it's a big if, right? Like, I think he was out with all the Buffalo and they brought him back.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be pretty ugly there for the rest of the year. It's great to see Robinson run back out in the field. Saw a clip of him running out in the tunnel after being shot, and he's running back already. That was fantastic to see, but it's going to be ugly there for a little bit until maybe McKissick goes and Robinson possibly takes over. But yeah,
not good. I do think they think that Robinson's just a better runner.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Breece Hall, Michael Carter. Well, we all know what way that's going.
Yeah, same again. I think we mentioned it 2 weeks ago that already Hall had taken over.
Yeah.
So it's just much the same. I think I said it earlier, right? I think he's still a buy candidate just because of those 2 targets those 2 touchdowns that Carter got that could have easily went to Breece Hall. He only had 2 receptions this game too, where in the past he's had those massive games of 11 receptions, 10 receptions, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the horse is bottled a little bit, but maybe some people are asleep at the wheel and you can get him.
Maybe I think it'd be hard after the game he just had. After the game he just had, it'd be tough. Maybe if you had another quiet week, maybe you jump on it then.
Yeah, you probably missed the boat, but
ATN and J Rob. I
Yeah,
still think
again,
ATN
yeah.
is going to be the guy that you want in that backfield.
I think so too. He had more rushing yards, more targets, more receptions this week. Week to week, it's going to flip and flop, right? But people are talking about Robinson taking over and ETN being an afterthought, but it's not the case. He's still hanging around there, 51% opportunity share to 41%. So I think if he gets a bit more confidence and that connection with Lawrence continues to build, long term, he's probably going to be the answer. I think they might trade Robinson in the off season.
Maybe. I have I traded ATN and Jared Goff and plus two guys I didn't give two craps about. One was like the Josh Reynolds and something else. I traded 4 guys, the primarily really ATN in Goff for Jameer Gibbs. How do you reckon that'll pan out for me?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good time to cash out. So yeah,
in the Devy League. And then this last one, Raimondo Stevenson and Damian Harris.
Yeah, so I think we already said that before this injury that Raimondo had taken over, and it was this is a good injury. We're not lapping on his injury here, but just what could happen, right? Where he's got 161 yards off 25 attempts. Obviously, that's with Zappi in a quarterback. That might change when Mac Jones comes back. If he comes back, some people are talking about QB controversy, but obviously Mac's going to come back. So that could change, but I think if he does come back, his receptions will go up too because he's had a couple of decent games reception wise there in Andre. So talks of Harris maybe being out for a few weeks. It's wheels up from Andre, and then I think they in all likelihood they trade Harris right this off season. I think they'll trade him. I think he's finished last year anyway.
And you've got a table here on the rookie wide receivers season to date. What was most jumped out at you here?
Just the red zone targets for Garrett Wilson. He's been a bit of a weapon there. Had that massive game with Flacco, but apart from that, he's got 9 red zone targets. The next is Dobbs in London at 5 and 4. So for me, that jumped out as well as his targets too. Already got 42 targets on the season, which is fantastic. So yeah, a couple of quiet weeks, like I was saying earlier, and maybe now it's time to get Wilson.
Yeah, possible. Definitely possible. Anyone that who you have underperformed who you want to go get?
Yeah, I think Burks. Just, only 16. What's it? 16 targets. 16 targets, 10 receptions. I'll be looking to cash in and to buy low on Burks. And it's just it's been surprising how many wide receivers have come out of this class. Right, there was talks about this might not be the strongest class, but they've all looked great, haven't they? Wilson, London, Olave,
Dotson, they've all looked good.
Dotson,
when do you think we'll
Pickens.
see something for one day Robinson?
Yeah, I'm not sure when he's going to be back. So he's a bit of a forgotten about player.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Giants are going to need him based off what's happened at their receiver position.
Yeah, Tony's looks like Tony's not practicing, and there's some sort of issue there. And like Shepard's injured, right? Golladay.
Still flawed. The Giants took him over Pickens. I'm flawed by lots of the players that went before Pickens. So.
Yeah, I think maybe that injury, if Pickens wasn't injured, he probably went a lot earlier, but is what it is. Maybe Jameson, Williams, the Detroit wide receiver, maybe just because he's been injured, he might be a sneaky buy. Must be coming back soon.
He will be. David Bell. Some people, he's really underperformed. Like people were saying, there were people who were saying David Bell wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and he's done sweet FA.
I think they've been eating shrooms with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, some people just seem to love him. But
there's a reason he went in the 3rd round.
Six targets.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4.8% target share. It's been pretty ordinary.
And what the hell, Sky Moore? I mean, this guy was going like 106 in rookie drafts.
Yeah, I think it's the CEH effect, right? We see him with Patrick Mahomes, with Andy Reid, and expectations moved up. It does take some time, right? These rookie wide receivers, it does take a lot of time. And I think when you've got veterans there, you can't just put the rookie in. But yeah, it's certainly taken time for him. It's just been a shadow.
And let's smash through these trades. Are these trades you offered, sir?
Yes, offered to me, some I offered. So one I offered someone, Zach Wilson for Trey Lance. That's a smash accept, if you ask me. If you're trying to win, and you've got a questionable third quarterback.
Look, I'm not going to make that trade if I've got a questionable third quarterback. If I've got 3 quarterbacks, it really depends on your roster construction, right? And look, Zach Wilson has looked kind of solid, but definitely not spectacular. And though his value could rise, right, with a solid season, I think Trey Lance's value is going to rise going into the offseason once the offseason comes and he's playing and practicing. And I think he's going to, like Wilson could kill his value at some, like this year. He could tank it by not playing well. Whereas Lance, I think, will just end up going up again. Like he was a 2nd round startup pick this offseason. If they declare him the starter, he's going to be a probably 3rd round startup pick at the latest, I reckon. If he's the starting quarterback, maybe the 4th. Like he's still going to get good startup draft capital. His value is going to rise again. Maybe not up to where it was because it was really high, but
he's gone off the nose a bit, right? Like he looked pretty ordinary. Which is why I'll put that offer out there. And I think you're right. I think that injury can sort of people will forget about, towards the start of next year. For me, this league, I put the trade out there and I pulled it just because for me it's not a smash accept either way. We've got question marks over both of them, but in this league, I'm trying to avoid those potential points. So yeah, 50-50. AJ Brown for a 23 late first and 23 late second. I was offered for I think the last 2 years that the first has been in the final. One year came second the other year. So that was a clear no for me for AJ Brown. I want at least an early first plus for Brown, or at least a mid first plus. So I think that's fair enough. And then what's your
look? I'm not going to train for a late first and second. I'd probably need a mid first and a late first.
Yeah.
At worst.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scenario where he works his way up to wide receiver 1. Right? Normally a player producing what like he would command 2 first plus.
Yeah, you could wait a couple of weeks. He could have like he had a massive game early. I think he even scored a touchdown, but he had that massive game. So he just had a couple of okay quieter games. So I'd probably hold him and wait till there's bigger games come. And the last one I offered AJ Brown for Dubs and Breece Hall.
And you were rejected?
Yeah, I was told I'd hold for now. So yeah, again for me this one, not massive on Dubs, and I love Hall, but yeah, I probably AJ Brown a little bit ahead of him for now, or it's close enough. But I'm trying to get same league. I'm trying to get those potential points off my roster.
Yep. And finally, Deontay, Lazard, Delpit, and Bobby O in the IDP lead, Bobby Okereke for Ridley, a 23 first, and Marcus May. And that was my trade.
So I think we're talking about off air. Pretty much. So it's pretty much Deontay and Lazard for Ridley the first, right?
Yeah. And I'd
Pretty
want
much.
a 23 first over Deontay, even the 112. And I would want Ridley over Lazard. So easy.
Yeah, I think that's a win for
Yeah.
you. And maybe that guy needs the could be a strong contender. He wants those points.
He's a very strong contender.
Yeah, and they are able those Delpit and Bobby O this year. So they'll score you some points.
And with that, we've rolled to 75 minutes. That 75 minutes is just pure sex appeal.
Love that.
Anything you want to say to the people?
I mean, I'm out. Just enjoy week 6 and send me some trades in consoles, Benny.
And stay safe in these storms. Going to be hitting Victoria hard the next 2 days. Don't know how about New South Wales? You guys going to get it too?
Yeah, I think we're going to get probably not as bad as you guys, but yeah, it's ever up and down the East Coast, so not looking good.
Yep. At least we can work from home.
Love that.
Thank you. All right. Ciao.